Hey everyone, this is Matt Palmer, Director of Client Services here at Enrollment Rx, and we're excited to present something to you called Industry Insights. And these are quick 5-minute insights into things going on in the Salesforce world and ecosystem and how it pertains to you guys as clients. So for today's topic, our topic today is Salesforce releases. So what is the Salesforce release? You may have heard this terminology before, but what does it really mean? And we're going to use this in the context of the upcoming Salesforce release, which is coming out this summer, and steps that you can do to ensure that you are prepared for that release and can take advantage of all the new features and just kind of how that works in general. So before I go too much further, the one thing I just want to mention is that Salesforce has releases 3 times a year. And they announce those releases, and those releases are universal to all customers that use Salesforce, whether you're using Enrollment Rx or not. And these are features that often enhance your capabilities of using Salesforce every day. The analogy I like to think of is if you had an iPhone, think of this as your iOS upgrade, where our product releases are the specific features that sit on top of that, which have a slightly different release schedule. So with the upcoming Salesforce Summer 24 release, let's go ahead and dive into relevant dates as well as steps you can take as an admin to make sure that you're prepared and can take the advantage of this. And many of the concepts that we're going to go over today can also be applied to future Salesforce releases as well. I want to take a few minutes to unpack each one of these steps and how you can navigate this as an admin. We can provide this link as well as a reference, but this here is just in the admin.salesforce.com blog that they provide. So as we can see, upcoming on 4/18 is a pre-release org signup. So this allows you in a Scratch org to get a preview of new features that might be coming out for summer 24. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your existing environment, but just as a Scratch environment that you can kind of do what they call a treasure hunt, try to find new features and things of that nature. On the 24th, Salesforce is going to release their release notes that unpack all of the features for all products that will be part of this upcoming release. And then on 5/10, there is something called a Sandbox Preview. So there's some important steps we want to go ahead, we'll unpack related to the Sandbox Preview and ways you can ensure that, see if your sandbox is going to be upgraded to that or not. There's a refresh window and some things of that nature. They're going to have some other kind of trailhead modules, but the main thing to highlight here is the release weekends. So the release weekends is when Salesforce will actually push your instance, your production instance, to the newest version of Summer 24. As you can see, those are on the dates of 5/17, 6/7, and 6/14. In my experience, typically most clients fall within the last 2 weekends, but that is something you just want to kind of make a mental note of. And I will show you how you can discover for your particular instance how to know if you will when your upgrade is going to be. So the first thing I'd like to unpack a little bit is talking about pre-release org. So here you can get access by signing up for a pre-release org. You can, set that up. There's some steps you can do that here. Here's where the release notes will be posted. So they link to that, but you can see historical release notes as well for Salesforce. And then here on May 5th before 5 p.m., if you want to be on this newest version in your sandbox, there's a refresh window to do that. Now, the one thing I just want to be very clear on is if you're working on a project right now, if you're working on Enrollment Rx and don't just refresh your sandbox to refresh it because you could lose all the work you're doing in your sandbox. But if you have a brand new sandbox, you haven't done a lot of configurations yet, and you want to potentially refresh it to get on the newest release to preview that, there are some steps you can take to do that. So they provide a tool here that is called a Sandbox Preview Guide. And the Sandbox Preview Guide will allow you to look up your org instance and see if you are scheduled, whether or not you refresh or not, to be part of this preview window. So if I go ahead and go to the Sandbox Preview Guide, you can see it asks for a Salesforce instance. And so this Salesforce instance, how you can identify that is if you were to log into your production environment, you could go ahead and find that in your sandboxes here. So if I went into our demo production environment, So if I went to our demo production environment and I type in Sandbox, and navigate to Sandboxes, you can see here the location is CS255. So if I go ahead and copy this and put this into the preview guide, I can type that in and hit submit. And this will tell me what the status is. So what would you like to do with your Sandbox? Would you like to upgrade to summer 24, or would you like to stay on spring? And again, this depends on your particular instance. So in your particular instance, if I said upgrade, you need to refresh it prior to this. If you want to stay, no action is needed because it's a non-preview instance. Now, if it was on a preview instance, it would tell me that, and there was no action that I would need to take. So if you're in, you could have multiple sandboxes. So if you have a partial copy and a full copy, perhaps you want to preview some of the stuff in the part copy that you can just refresh and then keep your full copy on spring 24. So that's just something that's really helpful in terms of planning ahead for a Salesforce release related to your sandboxes. The next thing I just want to review here, beyond the sandbox, how do I know when my org is getting updated? So you can see here, June 7th, June 14th, summer 24 arrives. So the way that you can do that is within your production environment, you can go ahead and look up, if I navigate here, I can look up my company information. In my company information, I could grab my instance number, and then under trust.salesforce.com, I can go ahead and navigate to that instance, click the instance, and then under maintenance, I could click this tab and I can see the history of what's happened. But in my case, I can see on June 14th, so that's the date that this org will be updated. This is when the major releases for summer 24 will come into play. So for you, it might be June 7th. So those are things where you just need to take into account, hey, this is when the upgrade period is going to happen. Depending on the release, there might be some impacts. There may not be some impacts to your functionality. But more than anything, you want to take advantage of this so you can maximize your use of the products and the new features that come out with each release. So in summary, that's just a quick insight into Salesforce releases, the upcoming summer 24 release, and steps you can take as an admin to prepare your org. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to answer those. We'll post a link to the article that I just shared from Salesforce as well in our content. And if you need anything else, of course, we're here to help. Please be on the lookout for more additional quick videos like this that we'll provide just to help our customers and be strategic partners as we navigate the Salesforce ecosystem. All right, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.